Hello, everybody. My name is Devin Williams, and I am an outreach coordinator for the State Office of African American Affairs. I'd like to welcome you all to the first part of a celebration of our culture, Black History Today, where we'll be recognizing students and administrators as they discuss the histories of their organizations, how their organizational experience has impacted their experience as Black people on campus, as well as providing some tips for students who are aspiring to be in higher education. Before I get started today, I'd like to start off with a quote by sociologist, historian, and civil rights activist, Dr. W.E.B. Du Bois. The function of the university is not simply to teach breadwinning or to furnish teachers for public schools or to be a center of polite society. It is, above all, to be the organ of that fine adjustment between real life and the growing knowledge of life, an adjustment which forms the secret of civilization. As we watch these amazing individuals speak their truth, let us actively reflect on how we can tailor their story to mobilize our aspiring youth. And without further ado, let's start the program.
Hello, my name is Brandy Stone, and I'm the director of UNM's African American Student Services.
Hello, my name is Kimberly York.
Hi, my name is Nia Walls. I attend the University of New Mexico. I am from Memphis, Tennessee.
Hi, my name is Ignacio Alvarado, and I'm here at New Mexico State University's own Black programs, and I'm here to just kind of share my story and talk about why programs like Black programs really do make a difference and how it's affected my life.
My name is Yashiro Ortiz. I'm originally from Wilmington, Delaware. I am currently studying at the University of New Mexico, majoring in architecture with a minor degree in business.
Hello, my name is Carol Holloway and I'm a senior here at New Mexico State University majoring in animal science with a minor in biology. And I'm doing this video to let you guys know how Black programs has made me a better person and opened my eyes to Black culture and really helped me throughout my journey here at New Mexico State University.
My name is Ebony Beatty, and I'm from Albuquerque, New Mexico. I went to high school at Albuquerque High, and I went to college at Eastern New Mexico University, and I received a Bachelor of Science in Communication, and then I also received my Master's of Arts in Communication.
Hi, my name is Odell Brown. I am currently a junior at the University of New Mexico.
This section will be focused on the Black student experience in higher education across the state. Students that will be featured from the University of New Mexico will also talk about their Black Greek life experience. For context, Black Greek life, historically African American sororities and fraternities, D9 and Divine Nine are all words used interchangeably. The D9 or the Divine Nine refers to the collective 9 historically African American fraternities and sororities which were created over 100 years ago on college campuses to support Black students. At the University of New Mexico, we've had 8 of the 9 historically Black fraternities and sororities chartered on our campus.
I am a first-generation college student, so education is super important to me and my family and everyone around me. As an African-American young woman especially, education is important considering the history that we have gone through.
My mom was a single mom. I am biracial, so I'm mixed with Mexican and African-American, but I did grow up with my mom who is an immigrant actually. She isn't even a citizen, she's a resident here. She was born in Mexico. And so she was a single mother, and I grew up with her and my brother. And we lived in El Paso for a majority of my life, and that's where I grew up.
So being in college and being in higher education, for me personally, not only did it expand my career options, but it also allowed me to kind of find out more about myself as a person, and to kind of find out what my values were. I think that just from an objective point of view, higher education allows you to get a job that fits your interests. You're not just kind of settling for any job, and you're not just kind of settling for any career. You get to actually pick what you want to do, and you get to actually go and do that, and not only do that, but enjoy it and make money doing it. So that's one of the benefits of doing it, but also I personally see higher education as a way to uplift those in my community. And I feel that, you know, if I go to college and if I even work at a college, work at a university, that allows me to make sure that younger Black people and younger Black kids aren't getting lost in the system and aren't, you know, not understanding how college works and how to be successful in college.
I am a first-generation college student, and on top of that, I am also a late bloomer. I did not have the traditional high school to college track. I did not go to school until my late 20s. Intimidated by the thought of college because I did not have a roadmap. In fact, I had to go to night school to graduate from high school, so I would not have been considered what people would say the prime candidate for a four-year college. I struggled my way through two-year junior college. Took me 4 years to do that, but I eventually was able to do it. And then when I finally did transition into traditional four-year college, I went to a prestigious predominantly white college, and I struggled. I struggled a lot, but I was able to get through it. In fact, I was able to graduate as valedictorian of my class.
You know, so a lot of people outside the Black community don't understand our values of being Black and educated.
For me, I think I was really fortunate because my freshman year, I was mentored by upperclassmen who were members of the Black Student Union and members of fraternities and sororities who really took me under their wing and got me involved. And so I was able to get involved in African American Student Services. I served as a work study, and that opened up so many opportunities for me and eventually led me to become the director of African American Student Services.
My sorority, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, has enhanced my experience in college. The sorority was founded in 1908 at Howard University, and it is super important to me.
Another thing would be that I think that historically, it's very, very important to go to college and receive a higher education because a lot of people fought really hard and even died over our right to be educated. So I think that it's just important just from a historical point of view because a lot of people didn't have an opportunity to go to college and they didn't have an opportunity, they didn't have a right to go to college. And so I think that it's only fair for me to, you know, kind of make sure that I'm uplifting their legacy by continuing my education.
So Saving Gamma Sorority Incorporated was founded on November 12, 1922 at Butler University in Indianapolis, Indiana.
So going to NMSU, I knew there were going to be opportunities for me to kind of figure out that Black side of me because it really was missing majority of my life. And not to say that my mom kept that from me, but it was just she didn't have that first-hand experience with Black culture.
I'm biracial, and I also identify as queer. And for a lot of my childhood and formative years, I've spent company in, switching back and forth between my mom's side of the family and my dad's side of the family. They're separated, so I got to experience the Hispanic, Latinx side of my family sometimes. But I spent majority of time with my mom's side of the family, who identifies as African American. And it was really cool to, get to experience both sides of the culture while also being in the El Paso area, which is such a melting pot of different ethnicities and people from all walks of life. You have people from the military, people who are transplants, people who, have lived there for generations with their family. But it wasn't until I got to Las Cruces, New Mexico, and enrolled in New Mexico State University, that I was finally able to meet, other people who are Black, Caribbean, African American, Afro-Cuban, like so many different walks of life, so many different like styles and skin colors. It was amazing. I'd never experienced it before. And it really wasn't until I got here that I got to meet other people of color, African American, Black, who identified as queer or were LGBTQ plus like me. And it had always been such like a struggle for me to really come to terms with being Black and queer, because there aren't a lot of people who identify like me in the media, in popular entertainment, or really many industries at all, especially not in my own major. So it was very difficult for me to, find people who identified like me.
The purpose of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated is to cultivate and encourage high scholastic and ethical standards, to promote unity and friendship among college women, to help alleviate problems concerning girls and women in order to improve their social stature, to maintain a progressive interest in college life, and to be of service to all mankind.
Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated impacts me because we follow our 3 values, which is sisterhood, scholarship, and services.
Through the workshops that I've been to and basically meeting other sorors around the US, I've definitely have felt a sense of sisterhood that I haven't felt before I went to university or before I was in the sorority. I would say it has impacted my experience at UNM very positively. It has helped me better myself as a person professionally as well as personally.
But through my employment at Black programs, I was able to not only meet other people who are like that, but gain friendships and long-lasting relationships and build rapport with people on campus who work here just like me, that also identify that way and also have a similar story and struggle. So that's really impactful to me.
It has helped me tremendously throughout college. This was one of the first organizations that I joined being in college, and it has definitely impacted my life by giving me opportunities and sisterhood especially.
So coming to NMSU, I found Black programs, and I really realized that meeting people here at NMSU who were a part of Black programs as well, they kind of had the same experience as me, same struggles as me, and I'm really appreciative of this organization that allows for us to learn about Black culture through social events, community service events all throughout NMSU. And now that I'm the president of the Black Student Association, I'm really appreciative that I can have this leadership role and kind of explore Black culture with everyone else on the NMSU community. We love to educate and be there for the students of African diaspora that are on the NMSU campus, including myself. And it doesn't even have to be anyone who is a part of the African American community. We're open to everyone, which I think is great because everyone can learn about Black culture and Black struggles without having to be Black. And I think that's really important about what we do.
Sisterhood is a way of being able to network not just with people within our community, but able to network with people that are outside the community in different states or different countries.
It also pushes me because of the people who are in my sorority. It just pushes me to be a better woman, a better person in general. So many accomplishments have been made, so much history has been done within my sorority that is just super outstanding and impactful.
And with this networking, we're able to, be able to find jobs quicker. We're able to meet up with them in the long run or in the future and be able to spend time with them and get to know more of their history and their experiences within the organization, along with being able to, I would say just study not just the New Mexico community within the Divine Nine culture, but also study the Divine Nine culture outside of different universities as well.
Hello, everyone. My name is Beverly Jordan. I am the lead outreach coordinator for the Office of African American Affairs. And we have some exciting programs that are going to be coming up to you soon. One of the programs is our Everyday Hero. And this program is designed to recognize 50 individuals throughout the state of New Mexico that are doing great work in their communities in the areas of advocacy, arts, community development, economics, education, and health. If you know of these people in your community, please go to our website and click on the Everyday Hero tab, and you will be able to nominate someone. We're looking forward to that. Also, we have the Cornerstones of Entrepreneurship, our business mini series, which will be talking about our PPP loans. There's a video on YouTube that will instruct you on how to prepare for the PPP loan. You can go to the Office of African American Affairs website. You can go to the Office of African American Affairs YouTube channel to see that particular video. The live session will be on Friday, will be on February the 18th at 3 p.m. You can go to the website to register. A panel discussion of PBS documentary, The First Rainbow Coalition, will be on Sunday, February 28th. The time will be determined. Now, we want to announce our trivia winners. Every day we have a Black History trivia question that is posted on our social media sites. And so we have several winners. Our winners are Deborah Sanchez, Latanya Nicole Peace, Wyetta Bradley, Regina Greathouse, E. Raquel Martinez Warner, A.B. Brown, Marie Elizabeth, and Harriet James. Congratulations to all of you all for being trivia winners. Our second segment that we're about to go in right now will go into talking about experiences as it pertains to being a student on campus and also being a Black student on campus, the challenges that Black students have on campus, how administrators tailor the work that they're doing on campus, and then advice about what we should do as upcoming generations. And the last piece is just advice to support individuals who are on campus.
Being a student at the University of New Mexico, I think I had a really fortunate experience because I had upperclassmen who were members of the Black Student Union and members of the Divine Nine who mentored me and showed me all these opportunities that Black students could have on campus. As a result, I ended up as a work study in the office, which opened up more opportunities, and eventually I became the Director of African American Student Services.
At UNL, we have a very strong and small Black community. It impacts me because I'm able to connect with every individual, and we're able to, put our heads together and be able to figure out future organizations or just, present organizations that could help us out in the future or be able to help us out and get into grad school as a Black student.
Being a Black woman at a university, especially when it's a publicly white institution, you don't always see yourself being represented. You don't always see people who look like you being represented. And so sometimes it's very difficult to, stay motivated because it's like, well, there's nothing really for me here. There's nothing really that represents me and my values and the way that I go through life every day. So it can be a little bit difficult, but I think ultimately you're there for a reason and you're there for a purpose, and you just have to stay focused and you have to, get through it. But I will say that being Black at a publicly white institution, for me, there were good things and bad things. There was a pretty good mixture of both. I've definitely faced forms of racism, forms of discrimination, and a lot of people don't talk about a lot of the things that go on at publicly white institutions because a lot of them are kind of swept under the rug. I would say the biggest part of being a Black woman at UNM, especially well, 19 because I just turned 20, I guess just not being taken seriously. I feel like because I have a younger tone to my voice as well as I look younger, I don't really get taken seriously, or people as well as like colleagues and people who are in higher positions make me feel, I guess, immature to a point, which for me growing up, I always wanted to be taken seriously, especially since, like I said, I look younger and I have a younger voice. So a lot of the times I usually have put up this front as more stoic and a sense of authority, which sometimes is being taken as aggressive or, yeah, I would say like just aggressive. So sometimes I would have to explain why I put up this front of authority.
One challenge as a Black administrator in higher education that we've had to face, and particularly in a Black Culture Center, is having the conversation with students who are getting ready to graduate about, do I need to cut my hair? Do I need to hide my curls? Do I need to straighten my hair? As career fairs come around and as students are looking for jobs because they'll be graduating and transitioning into the professional workforce. And so we've always brought in experts to talk about what it means to be your authentic self.
In 2018, when I came to the University of New Mexico, I was pretty reserved and shy. I would be in my room or in class or in the dining hall and back in my room. The same routine, never really went and met anyone. So being a part of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated has definitely put me outside of my shell. It has introduced me to new people. It's given me a sense of community that I felt that I was missing.
But I mean, one of the things just for Black students in general was that, you know, the school, the institution that I went to, they didn't recognize Martin Luther King Day as a holiday. And I mean, they said, you know, happy Martin Luther King Day, but they didn't have the day off. They didn't really, I mean, they didn't have anything that really recognized the day as what it was. And to be honest, they kind of whitewashed the holiday. And so it was kind of frustrating for me and some other students like myself, because we felt that it was kind of a slap in the face to us, because it's like, you know, Black students bring a lot of revenue to this school. Black students are primarily the athletes here. There's a large population of Black students, but we're not represented anywhere. There's no organizations for us. There's no, I mean, they don't recognize the holidays for us. Black History Month is just kind of brushed over, and there's not a whole lot of things going on for our month, but then for other, you know, months and for other holidays, everybody's celebrating, you know? And so it was just kind of like a slap in the face, because it's like, we're here and we're representing you guys, but then you guys don't turn around and represent us. So a couple of my friends and we decided to start meeting with the Board of Regents at the school and try to get this figured out, because we were like, why are we not recognizing Martin Luther King Day? Why is this not something that's being recognized for us? Because we recognize President's Day and we recognize every other holiday. So I'm like, it's a federal holiday. There's no reason why we should still be in class on a federal holiday. So eventually we did get that figured out, and thanks to the former chancellor at Eastern New Mexico University, President Elwell, thanks to him, it was a lot easier than it would have been otherwise. That being said, it was not an easy process. A lot of the time, they were sending us on wild goose chases and kind of having us jump through hoops to do simple things. And so
that was a bit frustrating. And I think that they mean well. I think that a lot of people in higher education mean well, but sometimes they just don't know, what it means to us when they do things like that. And so it's like they don't really recognize, like, oh, well, this is the only holiday that's recognized by African Americans during the school year aside from Black History Month, and we're just not going to celebrate it at all. And I don't think that they really thought about it as that, but I think they were just like, oh, well, it's an extra day, and we don't want to have another day off because we don't want to inconvenience ourselves and our schedule and stuff like that. But it's just like, at the same time, that's important to us. That's something that's important to us, and that's something that represents us, and it's just being swept under the rug. So
my freshman year, I lived at it was called Essence Hall, but it has now changed to the Black Living Learning Community. And there was a senior RA in the building that had a very, had prejudice towards that living learning community. She would always report us, no matter what we did. We could be walking down the hall, or we can just be talking about closed in a room with the door open, and she would report it that we were being loud and obnoxious, to the point where we had to have a meeting with her to just figure out the situation. And after that, she did cool down, but before then, it was to the point where we could have been kicked out.
How I tailored my experiences and transitioned them into the work that I'm doing now in my professional capacity is I recognize what it is to be a Black New Mexican and to be a student where you are the only one in the classroom. And so when we take the experience of a Black New Mexican, and we're pairing it with these Black students that are coming from larger Black communities, and they're all sharing this space now at the university and trying to define what it means to be Black in higher education, I think I can really understand where Black students here at New Mexico are trying to unpack what it means to be Black and to define what it means to be a Black New Mexican.
One of the things that I really believe that is very important in considering college and considering higher education, even if it's vocational programs, is for students to be able to have access to the valuable supports that they need, especially if they are a Black student or any other student of color. The college transition was not very easy for me. And so one of the things that became important when I moved to New Mexico, Las Cruces in 2015, one of the most important things to me was to find a way to contribute to my culture, especially understanding that when I moved here, I was told that as a Black person, we represented less than 2% of the population, and that we were statistically insignificant, if you can imagine. What I can tell you about the value that Black programs and other culture centers add is it can mean the difference between success and failure. It can mean the difference between high self-esteem and no self-esteem at all, simply because culture is just that important. I can tell you from firsthand knowledge that the things that I missed out on that students typically get in an HBCU, they can find in culture centers. And so I believe very strongly in making sure that students have access to engaging in their culture, engaging in supports that are unique to their needs, specifically when it comes to being a minority on a on a Hispanic serving institution, or even a predominantly white institution. Culture centers provide a much needed sense of community, especially for international students. We have a lot of students that come from Malawi, and I can tell you some of the stories that they have shared with me about just how important it has been to be able to see people that look like them, to engage with people that value the same kinds of things and principles. So I'm not going to belabor the point, but culture centers are very important to the success and the well-being of our students.
If I could give some advice to incoming freshmen or younger generations, I would definitely say to just go out there, be yourself, try new things, things that you think that you may not like, you might actually like. There are definitely plethora of resources around campus. Hang out with people that you normally wouldn't hang out with. There are many resources around campus, such as the Fro. The Fro personally helped me a lot. It just puts you around people who have like minds. They're working towards the same goal, and you oftentimes have a lot in common. It is also just a safe place. It is somewhere that you can be yourself. Like I said, I just feel like you should step out of your comfort zone, step out of your shell. That is the way that you grow. Join organizations, as many as you can.
I would say the thing that I struggled the most as a freshman was just being who you are. It's going to college, you always want to, of course, make new friends, and sometimes you might lose your way of self because you want to stick with these friends, especially being an out-of-state student and not having anybody in New Mexico. But just being yourself, friends will come and go. No matter what, there will be people that you will be talking to in August, and then in March, you'll barely know what they're doing today or anything of that sort. So just knowing that no matter what, you're you, and just be yourself.
So what I would say to the younger generations who are thinking about going to college or who aren't sure if they want to go to college, it's absolutely worth it to me to get a higher education, simply because it really kind of helps you figure out who you are. It gives you, and even if it's just to, take some time away from your parents or whatever to begin with, it helps you kind of figure yourself out. But then also, once you finish, you have unlimited options career-wise. You can choose to do anything you want to do. You don't have to settle for anything. And you really don't have to deal with a whole lot of, things that you don't want to deal with after you get your degree. Nobody can take your degree away from you once you're done. So I think that it's absolutely worth, going to college and learning those things and expanding your mindset in order to, have a more successful life overall. I would also tell younger generations who want to go to college or who are thinking about going to college that it's really important to persevere, and it's really important to keep going. And once you start something, you should definitely finish it. It's going to be beneficial for you overall. And I mean, it'll be beneficial in every sense of the word. You'll have actual literal benefits once you get a real job, but then you'll also just have other benefits. You just have a more expansive mindset overall. Everything is going to be different after you finish college. So I think that you go out into the world knowing more about yourself. You go out into the world knowing more about the world after you finish college. So it's definitely worth going. A higher education is probably one of the most important things that you can have as an adult and as a functional member of society.
As a Black woman pursuing higher education, coming in, I definitely felt a lot of pressure, but I challenged myself, and I would challenge anyone and everyone to be comfortable with themselves, be confident that you are capable, you are able to do anything that you set your mind to. And it's kind of hard to not focus on outside distractions or if you feel different from anyone else. However, the challenge again to yourself is just to be yourself, be confident in yourself, and understand and know that you can do anything that you set your mind to.
So I'm really thankful for this organization, Black Programs, and the Black Student Association here at NMSU to really open our eyes and educate everyone, ourselves, the NMSU community, the Las Cruces community even. So thank you so much for listening to my short story, and thank you to Black Programs and BSA for being there for us at NMSU.
And part of my mission here as student engagement specialist at Black Programs is to really make sure that I'm also someone that people who identify as either, Black, queer, biracial, anything that I can fill, just kind of, show them we are around, we are here, and there's opportunity and resource for us. And that's what I really appreciate about Black programs, especially from our interim director, Ms. Kim, who's done so much to provide resource, opportunity, scholarship, and excellence for me and other students. So I'm forever grateful for Black programs and all that's done at Fuce University. We make sure to cater to all students from all walks of life, and I'm glad that I can add this wonderful institution to my chapter of life. Thank you.
So some tools that I would like to provide to students who are not quite yet in college but thinking about it is to know that you can connect with offices like African American Student Services at the University of New Mexico and Black programs at New Mexico State before you're in college. We have several programs that cater to middle school and high school to make sure that you're ready for the university, and although we hope that you'll attend our university, our job is to make sure that you're college ready. And then when you get to college, we have various programs such as student organizations and mentoring and advisement and other programs for you to get involved in. But our goal is that here in New Mexico that you find a Black student community so that you can thrive and so that you can graduate.
Thank you all so much for watching. If you want to watch this video again, you can go to our YouTube channel, which has been posted in the chat. Next week, we'll be highlighting Black veterans. Continue to like our Facebook page and join our group for trivia, discussions, forum, and much more. On behalf of the Office of African American Affairs, thank you for supporting us on today.